points per game. Billings is a premier rebounder. Gary Korver, very, very dangerous from three-point land. UCLA coming in at 26-8. They went 14-4 in the Pac-12 and wound up in third place. For Texas, Imani Boyette is a 6'7" rebounding machine. She gets 9 a game. Atkins can be explosive, and Selena Rodrigo runs the show at the point. Let's bring in Holly Rowe.
Well, for Texas, Imani Boyette grew up in Los Angeles. She
Canada, but Naira Fields, like Canada, likes to get downhill. As you take a look at Karen Aston.
She's in her 4th year. She's taken Texas to back-to-back Sweet 16s. And she has 9 native Texans on the roster. Boyette knocking that one into the backcourt. So it'll be UCLA ball. And the Bruins will have their first crack at it. Very good rebounding team. They're going to have to be today, but they are ranked 8th in the United States in rebounds. Here's Canada with it. Boy, is she an exciting player to watch. Korver lining up her first 3 of the day, and it's in and out. Rebound tap to Texas. Here come the Longhorns. 30 wins. McCarty, a wraparound pass immediately at the strike.
Both of these teams want to get up tempo. Both have guards that could push the pace and get them there.
Atkins with the first basket of the day. Coming out 22-7 in round 2 against Missouri. 9:31 to go, just underway here in the first quarter. Here's the first attack.
Well, this was playing off a miss. And how about McCarty gets deep along the baseline? Doesn't look like she's got a terrific angle, but that is outstanding job finding her teammate.
Over the back, Korver will get the foul.
Well, check out the weak side check out. We talked about the diminutive frame of Brooke McCarty, but the kid has got tons of heart.
Now they list her at 5'4". She can hit the three-pointer, too, 41% out there. Rodrigo running the point. Karen Aston has called the signing of her a huge gift. Just a couple of months after she became the head coach at Texas, she said, we didn't have a point guard. And we had no one who could play that position on the roster. McCarty going around the back, trying to get it down low for Boyette, not a play.
Well, you make a great point about Rodrigo because, listen, was the kid ready to take over at that moment? No, but by necessity, she was thrown into the fire. And I'll tell you, she's got a big assignment with guarding Jordan Canada today. Let's see how that matchup plays, Dave.
Canada averaging 16 a game. Tremendous distributor as well. Shot clock down to 10 for the Bruins. Canada, slick feed underneath there for Billings, and a whistle. Monique Billings gets hit, 6'4" sophomore from Corona, California. And the top rebounder for the Bruins with 8 per game. Fouled by Atkins, who'll pick up number 1. And it'll put Billings to the line where she makes 68%. And the first one rolls away. UCLA, a team very used to playing in close games. They've played 11 games decided by 6 points or less. 5-6 record. They've played in a lot of them.
Well, I think it certainly gives you some experience, the ability to know what's coming, late game execution, time to score, understanding all those situations.
Davenport trying to dump it inside and knocked out a play by the Bruins.
You touched on Texas's rebounding ability. One thing Corey Close kept saying to us and to her team at the workout yesterday, we have got to board it.
They're tall and long with 4 players in a rotation, 6'3" or taller. And Boyette, of course, is 6'7". Over the top for her. She wants it in the paint. That one rolls away. Canada wants to push the tempo. But Texas really got back defensively.
Really like what Ariel Atkins did with her teammate. Just, sort of being there in position to provide help so that Canada was looking at multiple white jerseys, not just one.
Billings too strong. Rebound tipped and controlled by UCLA, and a second effort, new shot clock for the Bruins. Most of the Bruins have played with or against Imani Boyette, as mentioned by Holly Rowe. Canada a little bit too strong. Billings right back up for 2.
Just a terrific job by Billings to use her athleticism. Jumps over the top without fouling. Gets an easy opportunity for herself. That was nicely done.
So UCLA with a quick early lead on top 3-2 here in the first quarter. McCarty going around the back. long range, and that doesn't touch a thing by Atkins, and it goes sailing out of play.
Well, 6'4" sophomore Monique Billings doing work on the glass. This is her job. She averages 8 boards per game. Just does a nice job timing her jump. Nobody checks her out. Multiple blue jerseys in there. You've got to account for all of them.
Texas getting another big in the game. Kelsey Lang, she's 6'5". Comes off the bench but plays a lot of minutes. Atkins tipped it. A battle for it on the baseline. Drummer trying to get it up there. Hayes comes in, picks it off, and draws the whistle. Kelly Hayes just into the contest. She's a 6-footer from San Jose. And she'll draw the foul. That'll go against Empress Davenport, number 1 on the senior.
Well, you can see Karen Aston pulling the trigger already. I think there's some frustration by UCLA's ability to hit the offensive glass. So Boyette on the bench, and now Atkins will take a seat. Now, this has been one thing that's played to Texas' advantage all season, is their depth. At least 10 players have played in 30 of the 35 games to date.
And Billings with another rebound. She's so active on every miss. Brianna Taylor now into the ball game here for Texas. And you talk about that depth. In 30 games, they've had at least 10 players. The bench gets 27 points per game. So a lot of scoring off the bench. Billings traveling with it. So she gives it right back to the Longhorns.
Corey Close taking a moment to tell her, just shoot the basketball. Don't try to make the double move. Shoot it.
McCarty quickly into the offensive end. Well, she does everything fast. Tied for the team lead in steals. A superb defender, too. Davenport trying to use his screen, and Hayes with that armbar foul.
That's a good call by Roy Gobain. This has been a point of emphasis, of course, on both the men's and women's game. The physical contact on the perimeter, just trying to make it a little bit easier for the offenses to maneuver and operate.
Texas 30-4. Taylor straight on, got a great look, but that clangs away. Canada looking to penetrate. Down for Drummer, and they run that play beautifully.
Well, you can see the playmaking ability of Jordan Canada, though, right? The paint touch. It doesn't have to be a paint touch with a post entry. If your guards can get there and create plays, that's nice.
Rajane Drummer rolling right to the basket. UCLA looking pretty sharp early. Davenport slicing to the baseline to bank it in. Beautiful play.
That's her game. I mean, that is Empress Davenport at her best. Not a terrific shooter, only 30% on the year. Doesn't shoot it well from deep, but get her slashing to the rim? Yes.
Deals down the lane with the left hand, but not there. And Texas would like to run. Canada goes for the theft and tips it out of play.
I have to say, we talk all the time about Connecticut's practices and how well run they are. Corey Close and Karen Aston yesterday, for teams that you and I have seen this year, run as crisp, as on point, as intense of practices as we have seen. These two programs moving in the right direction.
Mindful of watching UConn practice. McCarty, yes! Way downtown with a three.
Everybody runs that play, right? The elevator doors close and you get your shooter into three-point territory.
She makes 41% out there, by far the best and most prolific three-point shooter for Texas. So she can really light it up, and she's put the Longhorns in front. The winner to take on UConn in the Elite Eight Monday night. Billings operating, and will draw the foul as Lang got armed.
Let's watch Brooke McCarty do some work and watch the action that they run. Everybody does it. She's basically going to come up right here and get the three-point opportunity. Give her teammates some credit. Watch the elevator doors close. Go ahead. Set it, free her, make the jumper. Nice.
So it'll be Billings at the line for UCLA under Corey Close, who told us a great story about when they were both young assistant coaches at UCLA years ago. Steve Lavin bringing her to John Wooden's home to meet the Wizard of Westwood. They hit it off immediately. They became fast friends, and after that she would visit the legend at his home regularly, kind of as a coaching student. And he was incredibly kind to her, as he was everybody. And Corey calls those the moments of a lifetime for her. Tutored by John Wooden personally. UCLA with a 1-point lead. Relationship with the legendary John Wooden. Is a terrific photograph of the two.
she says she's still indebted to the family for sharing him. And, you know, it takes time, it takes effort. Even when she left as an assistant at UCLA, every time an opportunity presented itself to go over and be with coach and visit, she made that happen. You want to be around greatness. If you're trying to be great, be around greatness.
I gave my kids the pyramid of success. That one is sunk by Davenport. And they were like, well, I'm not a basketball player. So this applies to life, too.
Right.
That was the great thing about John Wooden, was he was teaching life maybe more than basketball. But very successful.
You can listen to Bill Walton talk, and in 15 minutes, I guarantee you there's a Woodenism in there at some point.
No question. Billings turns, fires, airmailed it. Here comes McCarty to try and push the tempo. Got tied up. Got it free to Rodrigo. Davenport coming in, averaging just 7 points a game, and now tied up as it comes free. Billings got it loose. Canada into the all Pac-12 team. Maybe has to get a little more involved on the offensive end here for UCLA. Though she's a great passer at 6 assists a game. Backdoor cut for McCarty.
She's got 190 assists coming into this one. Great passer is right.
Lang with a hook in close. It won't drop.
Well, those are chippies you've got to have. Kelsey Lang did the hard part. She got the position.
Drummer one dribble down and can't connect. Might have done much better just to go straight up with it instead of the dribble. Fields, yes, she'll sink that. 16 points a game.
And she is one half of the dynamic duo. She and Canada come in combined 31.7 points per game. Those two can fill it up.
Canada's from Los Angeles and Fields is from Montreal.
Yes.
Taylor up high. McCarty in for Lang. She wants to roll to the basket again, but having a tough time against Billings. And Hayes helping out defensively. The Frozen Four in Tampa will fill its final 2 spots tomorrow in a men's ice hockey doubleheader. The puck dropping on Sunday at 5 on ESPNU and Watch ESPN.
I saw a piece on Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, and how they have made some non-traditional hockey towns. Tampa would be one of those.
Hosey really tied up underneath amongst the trees and never could get off a decent shot. Canada with a crossover, and out it goes. It's off her. So she just lost command of it, which is rare for her.
And she was hoping that the officials saw a tip.
Canada intends to become a neonatal nurse after college. And she may have some pro ball to play.
Yes, oh, no question about it.
Just a sophomore right now.
She says that was in good measure along with Corey Close and sort of the family atmosphere and, of course, being from close by. But that program was an essential part of her choosing UCLA.
Jordan is also considered the team's best singer, which she has not sampled for us. Boyette back in the game, tips it out of play.
I think Holly would be considered our team's best singer.
No question about that. Our best everything.
No, I think you're right about that.
Certainly our best dancer. Although you can cut a rod, legend says.
In my own mind.
UCLA by 1. Shot clock at 3. Canada has to get it up there and hit on the play.
Brooke McCarty's looking as if to say, wow, that one's a tough one. And she put a smile on her face and looked at the official. Of course, we get the benefit of the second look, but I mean, if her fingertips grazed the elbow of Jordan Canada, maybe.
Canada 76% at the line. And the gifted point guard leading UCLA in scoring, assists, and steals. And free throws. She makes a lot of those. Could be a Wooden and Naismith All-American when the awards are handed out.
Yeah, listen, our very own Carol Lawson, who's had over a decade in the WNBA and has seen player after player after player, has talked about Jordan Canada being the second best point guard in the country to Mariah Jefferson. So I don't know about you, but I don't need any more praise than that.
So how fascinating it is to think Gino Auriemma and UConn are trying to win their 11th national championship, and are now 3 victories away from breaking the tie at 10 with John Wooden and the UCLA men who ruled the men's game. And the idea that the UCLA Bruins could have a shot to stop them in Bridgeport is tantalizing.
It sure is.
They have a 3-point lead over Texas at the moment.
It had traditionally been Tara Vanderveer and Stanford that has been the streak stopper for UConn.
Lisa Jones and Cheryl Flores are going to huddle here on the opposite side of the floor. And they're going to call this UCLA ball. Tori Close, I think, did a lot of politicking to reverse that.
Well, she was close enough in proximity, so might as well bend their ear just a bit.
So coming up on 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Korver bouncing up top for Burke. Kennedy Burke, a tall freshman at 6'1". Dumped down low, but that's going to be an offensive foul before the shot.
Well, I got to say this to you. Ariel Atkins on that defensive sequence took quite the hit on the baseline because she was trying to track Korver. And to be able to kind of keep track of where Korver was going, run off screens, Dave, and still get back into that kind of position. Good job defensively by Atkins.
McCarty on the dribble drive. Airborne. Left it short. Rebound picked by UCLA. And Kennedy Burke is a former high school three-point shooting star. Here's Burke's three. And on target there, she can really drain those. She's always had that reputation. And Texas with the timeout.
Well, I think it's a good call by Karen S. And the one thing you worry about with Texas, only a 43% shooting team. And having trouble
season. She had 7 years at Florida State as a head coach. Look at her career mark. This team with 26 wins, 26-8.
Well, you just love somebody who's paid their dues, right? 9-year assistant at UCSB. Of course, starting point guard and 2-time captain at Santa Barbara. So the tutelage of Mark French, graduates in '93. And how about this steal by Burke?
Burke with a pick with those long arms and converts.
Yeah, and they have some length, some athleticism, and a nice job to just get in the passing lane there, put some pressure on.
That's a 9-0 lead now. 9-0 run, I should say, to open up the lead to 17-9. Just a little over a minute as Burke has really made an impact.
She certainly has. And just shoots the gap, anticipates it. The pass is too long. You know, if you're struggling, Dave, shorten the passes. Find the next best option. Let your offense have a chance to work.
Boyette turns, fires, not there. Fight for the rebound and a foul on the floor here with 55.8 seconds to go in the first quarter.
That's going to be on Burke. You can see on the weak side, Ariel Atkins trying to get to the offensive glass.
That's number 2 on the freshman, and she's going to come out. And Canada back on for the Bruins. So she's actually been on the bench through a lot of this run where UCLA has gotten the upper hand.
Yeah, and UCLA going small here. You've got Billings in the post.
Rodrigo off the inbounds, can't sink the three. Up ahead for Fields. Drummer was calling for it, now lost it. Picked up by McCarty. And wisely decides to back away. There was nothing there in transition. McCarty averaging 12 points a game, the 5'4" sophomore, and that'll rattle in. Boyette with another basket. That one tipped out of play with 25 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Well, Boyette took an early seat, but this is what you want to see from her. A very hard post up, the low wide base. Present your numbers to your teammates, and then the ability to go over either shoulder, so crucial for a post player.
6'7", not a huge scorer at 11 points a game, but a great rebounder. Fields turns, fires quickly. Texas with an opportunity on the run to cut in. A nice save on the baseline back to Rodrigo. And McCarty coming out. Back into the offensive play here, but only 3 seconds to go. And there's a block out of the sky by Fields right at the end of the first quarter. A fine defensive stop. We'll be talking with Corey Close, the UCLA Bruins head coach, when we return to Bridgeport.
Stick with what got us here. Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you, Holly.
We'll take a look at the game summary thus far. UCLA 5 for 14 made field goals, forcing Texas into 5 for 16 shooting. And you noted the bench points, and Corey just touched on their depth and their ability to mix defenses. They've gone between man-to-man and zone on a few occasions in that first period.
Davenport with the floater. That won't drop in. And another big rebound for Drummer, who's been very tough on the glass. Canada wants to go all the way. Left it off the backboard. And back and forth they go. Davenport will set up a play now off to the point guard. McCarty, scoop shot, that rolls in. That was pretty.
Well, she is very capable of those unorthodox finishes.
Fields quick to the other end. Billings right back up, and she'll be at the line.
With fifth offensive rebound by UCLA, you could see the disappointment on Karen Aston's face. But how about Brooke McCarty? Her best attribute is speed, and she understands how to use it. Korver is checking. They go into ball screen action. Little change of pace. How about the unorthodox? Little bit of English. You know who's made a career of that? Now she's coaching now, but Becky Hammond, right? All the little shots Becky had.
Well, here are the UConn kids. That was the reason for the big ovation you heard a moment ago. A giant win today against Mississippi State by 60 points. And how about Vic Schaefer, the head coach for Mississippi State? He said, we thought we were playing a WNBA team today. That's how good they were. They were certainly at a completely different level than the Bulldogs. No question about that. I mean, they're rock stars here in the state of Connecticut. Mariah Jefferson leading them in. The foul will go against Drummer to put Atkins at the line. Ariel Atkins, the sophomore from Duncanville, Texas. And how about the brilliance of Brianna Stewart all day long on both ends of the floor? She opened the game with a three-point basket. Every drive it felt like Mississippi State had, she swallowed it up with that unbelievable reach. And a 60-point margin of victory. That's a record setter in the Sweet 16 for anybody. I think we need a sports science piece on Brianna Stewart. That's a great idea. With that reach of hers, with that wingspan, she's sensational. Billings turns and fires, but a miss. And again, a case of a team that thought coming in they might be able to keep the upset roll going for number ones. Bulldogs had a really nice year, played very, very tough in a tough league. But this, as Lang knocks into, this UConn team has gotten so much better. And now they really have you wondering, where do they belong in the upper echelon of even the greatest UConn teams? I mean, now they might be considered among the top 2 or 3 ever at Connecticut. I think if they win 4 titles, they're going to have to be considered. I will say this to you. I have been staunch in my belief that 2002 is the best UConn team. 2001, who didn't win a championship, would be close as Canada gets a bucket. I mean, they're growing in my esteem because of, one, the way they play, the clarity of purpose. They've gracefully absorbed this quest toward history to this point. And they're on their way, and now into the Elite Eight. They'll beat the winner of this game on Monday right on this floor. The entry for Lang, rolling to her left, can't connect. I'll tell you, Karen Aston is running great plays. And Kelsey Lang is getting the requisite position, but she's got to finish. Canada with a scoop at 2. Because you miss on one end, you don't stop the ball on the other, and all of a sudden, that's a 4-point swing. 23-17, Davenport. That didn't touch anything. Now UCLA to run. Fields. A one-person fast break for 2. No one ever stopped her. Yeah, Texas's inability to put the ball in the basket is allowing UCLA to play to their strengths, which is playoff misses, use their dynamic downhill guards to get into position. Boyette on the bench yet again. Yeah, she has a couple of fouls, so she's been saddled. McCarty. UCLA certainly the sharper-looking team right now. McCarty won't get it to roll in. The block by Billings on Lang, who's really having a tough time under there. And a tie-up, it'll take it to the other end. It'll be UCLA ball. Well, UCLA in command and being allowed to play to their strengths. Nobody stops the basketball. I know that's a tremendous crossover and finish by Jordan Canada, but you better get in front of her before that point. And the same thing with Naira Fields, because if you allow them paint touches, it's going to be a long afternoon. A lot of talent on the floor for UCLA. Canada is one of 4 McDonald's All-Americans on a really gifted roster, recruited by Corey Close. A whistle at 6:48 to go before halftime here. UCLA looking pretty darn comfortable. It'll be Lang with his second foul.
So you got both bigs with a couple of fouls. Remember a season ago when we had Texas, there were points where they played those two bigs together. And I think Coach Aston, as you see Boyette get off the bench, she likes to sort of have one in reserve.
Billings to shoot and knocks in the first one. Coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championship Regional Finals continues tonight on CBS at 6. For more information on game times and listings, go to NCAA.com.
Well, you and I have had Carolina on a number of occasions. They looked pretty good. I think they might have the highest ceiling. You've got a Kansas team I don't necessarily think is Bill Self's best Kansas team. And Holly Rowe, who does such a great job at a Big 12, would concur and says it's not close, but it may be good enough.
I think the key there is it's a Bill Self team.
That's a great point.
So they're always going to be contending, it seems, for a national championship. Boyette back in. Yes, she drops in 2. Last July, she married the defensive tackle Paul Boyette Jr. on the Texas football team, and he's looking to be drafted in 2017. That's going to be an all-pro family.
Yeah, the power couple in terms of athletes at Texas.
A tie-up, and so Texas will have it on a possession arrow.
And Karen Aston has said, being married, it's an unusual circumstance, certainly in this day and age, but that it's had sort of a calming effect on Boyette. And the girls will tell you, Paul is the team husband. You need something lifted? Go get that defensive player.
Furniture moving, got to move into a new apartment. Paul gets the ring, and he always says yes. Boyette downstairs. That's going to be tough to stop, and she'll be at the line.
Well, now they're getting to their game, right? Get to Imani Boyette, put her in a position where all she has to do is catch and finish, and that comes off dribble drive. And again, paint touch, get the defender to step up, and boom, Boyette at the rim, opportunity for 3.
Canada with her first foul. So the Longhorns closing the gap a little bit here. She has 6 points. 6'7" senior from Los Angeles. All net there. She's a 79% foul shooter. So now it's a 5-point game, the closest the Longhorns have been in several minutes.
And what it does is now you can set up your pressure. Now you can force UCLA to have to execute in a half-court set. You extend your defense. You're using up clock here. This is nice.
Hard drive by Canada. Kicks it back out. Hersler straight on. And too strong. McCarty will set it up now. Haddis up for the screen.
Good activity in this zone. Really good job covering both sides of the floor.
McCarty, great fake. She shook everybody off with a little look away and laid it in.
Well, her handle and the speed, right? Mixed tempo. Frees the defense with a slight hesitation.
So now Texas has cut it to 3. Hayes from 15. Can't sink it. Tipped right back to her. And a new shot clock now for UCLA. They're looking for someone to stick it in. Battle for the rebound, and all the momentum belongs to Texas right now. On the give, contact, and that's going to be an offensive foul. They're going to get Higgs for the personal. Their first. We have a timeout. When we come back, Holly will be joined by the great All-American Stewie.
Earlier in the season, we know that, no matter what the score is, the game may be over, but we want to make sure we're getting better.
For you, Coach has said that you get a different look in your eye in March. How do you describe it, and why do you think that is?
I think it's just because, I'm a huge basketball fan. I love basketball. And it's my favorite time of year to watch basketball, and why wouldn't it be my favorite time of year to play?
I remember you telling me that in March you used to watch as a kid. What are your March memories growing up?
I would ask my dad if I could skip school to watch, especially the first and second rounds that were all day. And, just watching all the upsets and seeing what's going to happen.
How much of that upsets last night with South Carolina and Notre Dame got your attention of this team today?
It definitely got a lot of our attention because, we know that, other teams are going to think, okay, well, we're going to upset UConn. And we want to make sure that, we've reminded them that we're a different team than them.
And this are early impressions, Texas and UCLA. What do you see out here?
Well, obviously, Texas has a lot of size. We played them last year in the Sweet 16. And UCLA is just a really good team. They have great guards. But it should be interesting to see who wins this game.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and off to a good start here in the Sweet 16.
A double-double for Breanna Stewart. Terrific effort. I think had it been a different kind of game, she had a look in her eye to score 40 today.
I want to know, did her father let her skip school on those first couple of days?
Is Holly right there? She's still there? We got to find that out.
Yes, he did let her skip school, but he's a very lovely father. I just gave him a hug, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right?
I don't know. You have to watch basketball. What's wrong with that?
You are still a good student, right?
I'm a good student.
All right. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody calm down.
Davenport just picked up her second foul. Billings and a kick ball, and it goes out of play. It'll go the other way. So it'll be Texas ball.
A couple things here. First of all, you know, in the interview with Holly, Corey Close was talking about how she liked the aggression of her team. You just heard Breanna Stewart talking about Texas's size. I like that Monique Billings has gone right after them. She's got 11 points and 6 boards on the other side for Texas. No surprise. A lot of the work being done is Brooke McCarty. 7 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists. We need more McCarty.
Billings, by the way, 6'4", so good size on her side as well. Atkins, a little bump, can't stick it. Billings with another rebound. UCLA by 5. Here's Canada now. He's got more involved on the offense, shooting a little more frequently. Ira Fields, another big scorer at 16 points a game. She's had a terrific career. She has scored almost 1,900 points. Fields has in her career. Korver swings it. Here's Hayes. Canada has it stripped after a great rebound. And now Rodrigo traveling with it before the held ball, so 2:36 to go.
Again, signs of aggression, opportunistic plays by UCLA. If Texas doesn't have it, go tie it up, force a turnover.
Close is going to put Fields back in the game. She has 25 points today. She can move into 3rd place on the all-time scoring list at UCLA. She has 36 20-point games. She's tied right now with the great Ann Myers on the all-time list in that category, and that's going to roll in. Nice touch.
Well, you're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it at the college level, Ann Myers.
Well, the true pioneer.
Oh, gosh, in every way imaginable.
Fired over the head and out of play. That was intended for Sarah Haddis. I believe this is true, that Annie was the first to sign a 4-year scholarship at UCLA.
First woman to get an opportunity to play pro ball, paid a price for it. There was some negative publicity. She had the grace to handle it all. Think about her work as a television analyst. Wow, how about a board from that? Nicely done by
Drummer. Went up high, taken away now by Texas. UCLA with the lead, 31-24. Here's McCarty outside the 3.
First woman to call professional basketball games, Ann Myers. There's a lot of firsts.
I got very fortunate to call a bunch of games with Annie as well. A foul with 1:52 to go. Right before halftime. That'll go against Korver, number 2 on the junior from California. And back on is Jordan Hosey for Texas, a 6'1" freshman. A lot of 6-footers and well above that on the Texas side.
And all of these players that you're seeing come in allows Karen Aston to play a lot of different ways. You want to go small, they can match down. You want to play with size, they can do that too.
Cardi to the lane and gets it to roll in.
She's a handful, and that speed and the handle makes her very difficult to contain off the bounce. And she by herself is doing yeoman's work to keep her team in this thing.
Again, listed at 5'4", and the theft. On the attack, and it'll be laid up and in. Texas getting the turnover. Higgs, the freshman, and a timeout, UCLA.
Higgs has got outstanding speed and uses every bit of that to...
The Texas is cut it to 3, and the Northwestern Mutual halftime report is coming up on ESPN. So keep it tuned right here for all your tournament scores and news about the NCAA tournament, which last night was rife with upsets as South Carolina, a number 1, went down. Notre Dame, a number 1, went down. It was a great night for the Pac-12, by the way.
Well, I tell you, all season it's been a great season for the Pac-12. What a job. Stanford did 11 made threes to put 90 points on the board. You know, Taro's team came in as the number 2 field goal percentage defense in the country, Dave. They knew they needed to score against a very potent Irish offense.
Well, she's a lot to me like Tom Izzo on the men's side. You give her a couple of days to figure out how to beat you. Guess what she's going to do?
Yeah, exactly right.
Turned over in the lane, a whistle with 54.4 seconds to go, and back to the Pac-12 in the Sweet 16. Washington with that great win over Kentucky.
I'll tell you, you want to watch a player that is so fun and enjoyable to watch. It's Kelsey Plum. How about Plum has 23 points, 7 boards, 6 assists. I know Walton had 30. I know Rebecca Love, Chantel Osipor, who was absolutely outstanding. But boy, do I enjoy watching Kelsey Plum play basketball.
Addis putting Canada at the line with a foul, but missing on the first one. And a big 3 for Washington against Kentucky. Plum with 23, Walton with 30. Combining for 72 of their 85 points. And racing by the Wildcats. Canada missed the pair. 33-28. Last 47 seconds before halftime here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Both of these schools came a long way to be here. That'll roll off the iron. And a whistle underneath with 40.7 to go. So a foul stops the clock. It'll go against Fields, number 1. And Atkins to put it in. Atkins came in averaging 21.5 points a game in the tournament. Here's Higgs.
She has not had her jumper flowing, Atkins, at all. She's missed and missed badly on a couple of occasions.
Boyette, a dribble down with a kick out.
And Karen Aston gets the attention of Brooke McCarty and says, let's play for 1 here.
An opportunity to be just 2 down.
Yeah, nice little switch here. Get your best scorer off the ball in McCarty.
Boyette in the corner, pass tipped. Higgs launching a long 3, well short. And he can't save it.
And McCarty goes over to her right away. See, this is good leadership from the sophomore to the freshman. They were setting that up for a corner 3 from McCarty. Higgs pulled the trigger too quickly.
Chance for a heave here. Canada. Long one. That won't touch anything. But UCLA hit plenty of shots. Their biggest lead was 10. Corey Close 21-0 and leading at halftime this season. And UCLA has
Ariel Atkins as you take a look at the breakdown and the differential.
Monique Billings leading the way for UCLA with 11 points and 9 rebounds. She was a terror on the glass. Brooke McCarty for Texas had 9 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds.
Billings went to the free throw line 8 times.
So UCLA opening up the second half with the ball and the lead. Billings with a catch and off target. So we'll see if Texas can take advantage of their outstanding size. And especially Boyette in the middle at 6'7". McCarty sealed off there. UCLA coming in 26-8. Texas at 30-4. A whistle and a foul. Texas known to be unhappy with the fact that they're in the same bracket with UConn. Ariel Atkins, 18.5 points a game the last 2, only 4 today.
That's the point I just made. I mean, this player has been, she has gotten healthier down the stretch of the season. Everything they anticipated. One of the best recruits in the country coming out of high school. Of course, Duncanville known as a women's basketball power on the high school level.
Imani Boyette just picked up her 3rd for us. She's on the bench.
She's got to be heard from in this half, Dave.
Billings on the high set, fired it out of play. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, I spoke with Karen Aston of Texas at the half about that very issue, is that UCLA is doing a great job taking away their first option. They are not being patient enough with ball reversals and running their offense to get to their second and third option. She's looking for a much more patient, well-thought-out plan here in the second half.
Atkins went for the bounce. Lang picked it up, and she'll lay it up and in. She just came on because of Boyette being in foul trouble.
She was 1 for 5. And Rebecca touched on this in the studio, Dave. They got great post position. They were just missing shots, something we talked about in the first half.
Yeah,
so finally,
a lot of good looks, you're right.
Yeah, finally Lang hits a chippy.
Korver zips it to Canada. Back to the three-point threat. The teardrop, a lot of iron, but it'll roll away. Billings again battling for the rebound. They just can't seal her out of there. And draws the foul.
Yeah, it's her activity, constant movement. That is her 5th offensive rebound of the game.
Coming in averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds a game, the 6'4" sophomore. Atkins picks up her second personal. So today a double-double for Monique Billings. UCLA's top rebounder. She had a 14-rebound game against St. John's in December. And she had 10 in UCLA's second-round NCAA victory over South Florida. Around and out there. UCLA by 3. So Texas on this possession with an opportunity to tie the game on a 3. Rodrigo stopped at the foul line. Lang turns. And a misfire. Jordan Canada, one of the great guards in the country. Billings turns. Both teams chilly. Coming out of the locker room here for the second half. Atkins, very determined. Leaving it off for Lang. Swatted by Billings. It comes right though to Rodrigo, and she can't lay it in. Lang back up for another effort. That one goes. She is 6'5", and a timeout UCLA. They've begun the second half pretty lethargic. Not Texas.
Well, they are doing work on the offensive glass. Lang is one of Texas's best players, but she's played nervous all day. She's 1 for 5. She has contributed on the glass, but this is what Karen Aston has told us about adding Tina Thompson. Does she know the ins and outs of the business yet? Of course not. But let me take advantage of one of the greatest clutch players in history and let us mentor them. And they signed one of the top players in the country who happens to be a 4 player, just like Tina was. You think that has an influence on maybe adding that kind of player?
Well, I would think tremendous influence. Of course, she is the WNBA's all-time leading scorer. Dipsy Do, and 2 for Canada. And UCLA out of that timeout, a shot they really needed.
Yeah, they had lost momentum.
Cardi lifts. Yes! She knocks it a 3.
Now you're starting to see Texas settle in a little bit. I'm surprised because I thought in the first 20 minutes of this basketball game, Dave, you had a Texas team that didn't play to who it was. You know, they looked nervous to me. They were in the Sweet 16 last year.
At one point, they won 16 in a row, as that one will be a little short by Canada. Into the paint, slams on the brakes. Fields with a miss. Picked off by McCarty and Rodrigo. They want to run. Lang commanding it on the low block out of the double team. Nice feed there, but Davenport can't finish. And now a foul. As Atkins hits the deck, let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, as you said, UCLA losing some of that momentum. Corey Close called the timeout, and in that last huddle, she said, we are down 3 in rebounding. Rebounding is who we are and what we do. She said, if that ball's on the floor, I expect to see 5 of you on the floor getting it. She said, everybody just take a deep breath right now. And then she asked her players, do you know who we are? And they all nodded their head, yes, yes. She said, all right, then let's get back to being who we are. And that is a tough, physical rebounding team.
So Texas has gone in front. Atkins with another one coming. Very good foul shooter at 80%.
You wonder if that conversation with Tina Thompson just settled Ariel Atkins down. You know, one thing, if you're nervous as a player, the best thing you can do, Dave, is throw yourself into playing the absolute best defense possible. Keep it very simple. Try to get to your spots on the offensive end. Maybe get out in transition. I'd like to see the real Ariel Atkins show up because this kid's a talent.
Billings thought about it. She's had a hot hand. A great pass instead as they run a terrific play. And Burke there for the basket. McCarty quickly into the offensive end. Tied at 37. So now it's turning into the kind of game we hoped it would be. Way downtown, and that one absolutely buried by Atkins.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she can play. She's got in-out ability. She could put it on the deck.
Burke with a dish. Drummer will knock in 2.
Now, these two teams, you can see it. They score, I don't care. I want to get to pace, right? So take it out of the net, push it up as fast as you possibly can.
Davenport with a pull-up pop.
It's not her game. That is not her game. She's got to settle in, Empress Davenport.
Drummer got hit on the other end. That three-pointer by Korver.
So your poor shot to me is as bad as a turnover because it results in the same thing. An opportunity for your opponent to get a shooter in position off of your miss and make you pay.
We're playing 4-on-5 with Drummer back on the other end. Pass picked up by UCLA. I'll tell you who makes a difference in short spurts, and that's Kennedy Burke, the freshman. She had some really nice moments in this, just had the theft. And now a timeout, an official timeout. Looks like a shot clock issue with 5:01 to go in the third.
You're right about Burke. You know, she has the timely bucket. They needed an opportunity. I thought the first half she was super opportunistic. Her energy, her effort was having an impact on the people around her.
Canada looking to add to a slim lead now for the Bruins. The regional semifinal here in Bridgeport. The winner to face the University of Connecticut. Picked off by Texas. Rodrigo back to McCarty. She'll take the lane. Scoop it up there. Oh, it was inside the cylinder, but it wouldn't hold it. Burke with a long distance shot. That barely nicked the iron. And a whistle on the baseline and a foul.
It's nip and tuck here in Bridgeport. 42-40 the advantage for UCLA. The three ball starting to come into play. Aerial acts. Alexis Jones and Nia Johnson, an outstanding backcourt. And, you know, it's interesting about this Texas team to me because you got absolutely waxed on senior day in Waco, and you wondered, would Texas try to get to the Big 12 championship, right? That kind of loss could take your spirit. You can kind of say, really, do I want to play that team for a third time and maybe get waxed again? But competitive spirit, the drive, the willingness to compete. And Karen Aston told her team after that loss, you know, we'll figure a lot out about ourselves by whether or not we advance to that championship.
They went to the championship. They did lose by 16, 79-63. Picked off by Burke, who continues to show up big for the Bruins and will draw the foul on the drive. The reach in by Rodrigo.
Just a really poor pass by Rodrigo. Just right into the hands of Burke. She's already proven on multiple occasions that if you're throwing it in her direction, you better be on point with it because she will pick it off.
Freshman from Northridge, California. Her father played at UC Riverside and then professionally. So serious basketball in the family. Averaging about 6 points per game. Getting a lot of minutes here in this regional semifinal. In and out on the second.
Won 3 state championships in California. Number 16 overall recruit. So she came in with a big-time reputation, Burke.
Imani Boyette back in the game. She is playing with 3 fouls, and so does Kelsey Lang when she's in the game. She's on the bench right now. So 6'7", 6'5", but both in some trouble. Great cut there. Taylor will lay it in.
And a nice find by Boyette. You absorb a double team, it means somewhere someone is open. That's a 2-part equation. Boyette's got to find her. Players got to get in her vision. So good cut.
Canada directing traffic. Sophomore from Los Angeles. Billings has had a really, really good day and adds to that with a sweet jumper.
13 points now, and she has not been shy about attacking size.
That is her season average. She's already met it with over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. McCarty, a quick shot. Maybe too quick. Big rebound. Boyette up and in for 2. Well, she's the first player in school history with 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 200 blocks.
That was her mom, Pam McGee, in the house. That was the look of a nervous mom.
Billings at the foul line. Canada had to get some air underneath that jumper. Taylor going for the missed shot. Nice save there on the baseline. So Texas has it, an opportunity again to tie the ball game. Let's see if they run a play, however, for the big Imani Boyette.
Oh, she's got her. Just throw it in there.
Boyette trying to square up into the lane. Tough shot. Rebound tipped and controlled by the Bruins. Hayes fouled on the play. It'll go against Texas with 2:07 left.
Boyette is battling Billings the whole time. Posts up here, understands, okay, the double team comes. Who is cutting for me? And that was Taylor, who did a good job. And then go ahead and offensive rebound it. Just cut loose of the defender on your body. And Pam McGee watching her daughter quite nervously. No smile. Like, okay, what's the score? What's the time? What are we working with here?
Ariel Atkins just picked up her third personal to put Billings at the line. She makes 68%. Texas now racking up some foul issues. Atkins with 3, Boyette 3, Lang 3. Atkins going to the bench. Billings second, yes.
What a day of battling for Billings. And she'll absorb Boyette on this end again, and let's see, do they try to establish her?
14 and 11 as she adds to her double-double. It's a foul from behind on Fields, reaching over the back and commits her second. This is a Texas program with a lot of great basketball history. They are number 5 all-time in wins in a women's game, 1,011. Many of those, of course, Jody Conrad wins, the Hall of Fame coach. Another foul with 1:49 left.
And no one more aware of that than Karen Aston, of course. And there is the great Jody Conrad, the Hall of Famer, who helped establish that tradition. And that 1986 team, the first team to go undefeated in NCAA history. Of course, there have been a string of them since, UConn and Tennessee most notably. But you're talking about Karen Aston, who was an assistant coach, was a relentless and respected recruiter under Jody Conrad.
2 fouls on Canada. Boyette baseline. Oh, that's an almost impossible shot, but she gets it to go in the reverse.
Wow. Tough angle, tough shot.
So now back to a 2-point game.
I got to believe that drew a smile from Mom, that one.
Fields, too strong. Texas can tie or take the lead now. Davenport backs it beyond the 3-point line and a pickoff. It's Billings again, trying to corral it, and a whistle, and they'll call a foul on McCarty, who saved a layup, her second personal.
Let's watch Imani Boyette, the 6'7" senior. Lots of traffic around her. She's going to try to take a tough angle, gets to the baseline. How did she make that, Mom? What'd you think of that one? Yeah, amen.
So Billings to the stripe, where she has been for long stretches today. Number 1 goes. Let's go to Holly.
Well, Imani Boyette, to me, is one of the more inspirational stories in women's basketball. She has been remarkably open about her very difficult childhood, molestation as a child, several suicide attempts. She has written beautiful poetry, expressing those feelings, working through those feelings, and I think her words have helped a lot of other people who are going through difficult times when she's been so open and sharing with the journey she's been on. Now happily married, succeeding as a basketball athlete, and the Big 12 Student Athlete of the Year.
You know, so willing to share her story, Holly, knowing that she's probably helping some youngsters out there, that they actually put it in their game notes, which they would not do without her being willing to share that story. So talking about a young woman that's overcome some extraordinary difficulties, and to see her play at this level, truly special stuff.
Very, very courageous. Under a minute to go here in the third. UCLA on top, and with the ball, Billings has been the go-to, and that rolls in.
Well, she has, her signature has been all over this basketball game. She set the tone from the outset, the willingness to compete. You heard Holly talk to her at the half. Look at the size differential that she's dealing with, about 3 inches. But boy, is she working.
Pull-up jumper, and that one swishes in by Davenport. 52-48, final seconds of the third. Davenport with half a dozen. Canada to set one up now for the Bruins. They come in ranked 10th. Texas number 7. So you knew it had a real good chance to be a good game, and that's what it's turned into. Canada a bit of a heave there and knocks it in. A 2-pointer right before the buzzer. kind of lulled them to sleep and then dropped it in. So UCLA has the lead going into the fourth, 54-40. Last 32-31 as we go to the fourth quarter in a game that could very well come down to the last couple of possessions.
I'm certainly hoping so.
After watching UConn race by Mississippi State by 60 today and set a Sweet 16 record for largest margin of victory.
Well, Texas had the honor up until this afternoon. They were beat by 51 last year. Good drive by McCarty.
So the little guard drops in 2 to make it a 4-point game. She has 14. Pressure and the theft. Up and in by Higgs.
Yeah, really nice job by Higgins. Opportunistic. Remember, we showed you that Karen Aston halftime speech where she said, they're stealing the inbounds. Let's get back to work and do what we do. And Higgs responds to her coach.
Sean Higgs, freshman from Round Rock, Texas. Drummer deep in the corner, facing pressure. Canada, will it be her fourth quarter? Short. Drummer mishandled the rebound, a collision on the deck, and a timeout, UCLA.
Wow, did they have possession to call that?
It didn't look like it from here.
I don't think they had possession.
But they do get the timeout.
Listen, Holly.
Tim, thanks. A very tight one here, just starting the fourth quarter, 54-52. UCLA getting a timeout that they probably shouldn't have gotten there.
I did not think they had possession of it, and to be honest with you, I think it could bite them in the backside if this stays close.
Tip to McCarty. Makes the wise choice to dribble it back out. Now inside for Boyette. A dribble down and the whistle. Let's go back to that play moments ago.
I did not think that UCLA had possession for this to be called a timeout. The ball's going to come loose. The whistle comes real quick. So first of all, this is equal opportunity. So I did not think the timeout should have been granted. Nonetheless, UCLA and Corey Close use a timeout. They've got one left.
Right. That's a big play.
It's a big play. I don't think you want to use that there.
I want to burn that there. Canada just picked up her third foul for UCLA. So a lot of wheels turning right now. Boyette at the line. Knocks him in. And we are tied at 54. 8:51 to go in his regional semifinal. The winner goes on to the Elite Eight to take on UConn on Monday night. It'll be right here in Bridgeport. This game tied for the fourth time.
What do you notice about UCLA now? Not playing off misses necessarily, not playing off turnovers all the time. Make them a half-court execution team.
Billings looking for a guard, back to Fields. Shot clock at 9. Fields, long range, can't hit. Atkins, pull-up pop. Yes, and Texas has the lead.
Well, since that little conversation with Tina Thompson, she's been pretty good, hasn't she?
Well, Texas starting out the fourth quarter on an 8-0 run. And in front now, 56-54. UCLA in dire need of a hot hand.
And their defense starting to get a little bite to it.
It's Ben Billings who has the ball now, but a foul on the baseline.
I think they're going to get Davenport, Dave. I think for impeding the progress of a person on the move.
Exactly right. It's her third foul. 7:56 left. Visit NCAA.com. It's the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
That's a George Washington team that, remember, got off to an auspicious start. Upset the University of Virginia on their home floor. Give Tony Bennett some credit for scheduling tough. It's helped him advance deep into the NCAA tournament.
But to say Virginia has recovered rather well.
Yeah.
Canada up top for Fields. Billings with a catch. Her jump shot won't fall in. Drummer with a big rebound and a holding foul underneath. And neither one of these teams are reluctant to foul. And they will do it. That'll go against Atkins, and that's her fourth.
And so second team foul. This is where the quarter situation is an interesting one to me, because remember, you get to the 5 mark. So you're resetting essentially every end of period on fouls.
And they're shooting 2.
Right. As much as Texas has fouled, they get the reset here in the fourth.
Canada to set it up now. Billings on the high post. Korver, dangerous beyond the three. 10 to shoot. Billings, 6 to shoot. That pops free. Knocked out of play by Texas with only 4 on the shot clock.
We're fortunate to get to. I thought it might have gone off the shoulder of the UCLA player. Nonetheless, you're going to have to be pretty efficient with your screening and action on the catch.
They want Fields to shoot it. Her step back. Billings went for the rebound, but Boyette had better position.
That is the beauty, though, of having 2 players who can create their own under duress in a shot clock like that.
They certainly do in Canada and Fields. But Texas has the advantage, up by 2. Winner going on to the Elite 8, and a foul by Fields. She ran right into the guard, and that's her 3rd foul.
So each team, as we march down the stretch here, they still have 2 fouls on either side before either one gets in the bonus. And remember, Texas with 2, UCLA with 1 timeout.
We were talking about this in the ride over this morning before the UConn-Mississippi State game. Do you like the 2 shots, the 1-and-1 going away entirely?
Listen, do I like to have to see kids make free throws under pressure? Yes. I could go either way on this rule, Dave, just because the 2 shots, and I heard Deb Antonelli talk about this.
Boyette right back up for 2.
Nice finish. One thing I'd say is you're rewarding a team that fouls a ton, Dave, by not giving them 2 shots. So you're putting the pressure on the offensive team, even though they've gotten the lead. But let's watch Imani Boyette work on the post. And these are the kinds of shots they've been getting. It's just a matter of these guys finishing. Boyette with the offensive rebound, and Pam knows a thing or two about that exact play.
Foul is on McCarty. No whistle on this one. It's loose on the floor and a tie-up. But the ball will stay on this end. UCLA to have it with 6:28 left. And Texas is saying, and there's the thumbs up indicating they've gotten it right, so they're going to keep it. UCLA will put it in. Korver to do the honors. Looking for a cutter. Over the top for Drummer.
So the officials check with the, remember, there's always 4 officials, 3 on the floor and 1 at the table. And the 1 at the table confirming that the tie-up should have gone to UCLA.
Drummer swinging into the lane up against Boyette. Not a good idea. Thrown away, though. Billings with the pick, the layup, and up and in.
Boy, again, a big play by Monique Billings. Opportunistic, recognizing Boyette would be looking to get it to the guard and just intercepts the pass.
What a fine game she's had with 20 points. 9 of those in the second half. Texas up by 2. Boyette well away from the basket, harassed by Billings. 7 to shoot now for Texas. Higgs wants to take it. She lays it in. Boy, is that a strong move.
Yeah, just straight isolation on the left side of the floor for a player who is a very good one-on-one player.
Canada, a little bit of a wild effort there. She races back defensively on Higgs, who pulls it back for Taylor. Now Texas will set it up, and they lead by 4 as we close in on the 5-minute mark of this regional semifinal. UConn waiting for the opponent to come out of this game on Monday night at 7. Higgs, the freshman, not playing like it. Lays it up, but no. UCLA sloppy in transition, and Texas picks it up.
Just a really poor decision. Why are you making that pass? You've got to find your guards and make sure you put it in the right people's hands.
McCarty had a very strong floor game. Lost the dribble here. And a whistle and a timeout, Texas. You want to turn it over there.
Roy Golbain having a conversation. It's going to be a 20-second timeout. Karen Aston was giving it to him for not having a foul on the ball handler. Is that a trick question?
You can talk about any of these.
Oh my goodness.
You can mix and match. Do anything with your friends with all of these.
How about the Texas defense here in the fourth quarter? Just 2 points in the quarter for UCLA.
Atkins to the left. Off the fake. And knocks it down. She'll be at the line. Big play for the Longhorns.
That draws quite a reaction from her teammates. She has been on fire since that conversation with Tina Thompson. How about the crossover, the sell with the up fake, and then the ability to play through that contact. Beats Korver and then absorbs the contact with the help defender. That is beautifully done by Atkins.
Well, she got Billings up in the air and then created the contact. The first foul. Atkins with a three-point play. And this is the biggest lead today for Texas as they open up a 7-point advantage with about 4.5 to go. Well, she hits the bench. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, it's a remarkable comeback for Ariel Atkins. She had a severe ankle injury. When we asked her what it was, she said, I pretty much tore everything in my ankle. She sat out most of last year, the first 9 games of this year, and finally rounding back into form when her team needs her.
Yeah, and it's about confidence to me, Dave. I mean, she's gotten healthy. She's gotten some legs underneath her, and all of a sudden her confidence off the charts.
I'd say all the momentum has now swung to Texas last several minutes. And they are beginning to dominate on the backboards, 63-56. Look at that 15-2 run. Higgs, the rookie, back to McCarty. They're running down the clock. Now 7 to shoot. Higgs launches. Can't bury that. Billings with another rebound. UCLA needs a hot hand. 3:42 to go here in the fourth. Last game of the day from Bridgeport. Here's Korver. Off the fake, Canada to drive it. A slap foul with 3.5 to go. Foul will go against Breanna Taylor, the 5'9" junior from Houston. Fourth team foul puts Canada at the line. She makes 76%. In the top 20 nationally in assists at almost 6 per game. On target with number 1.
She's made a living here at the free throw line all year. You can see why. That dribble drive ability is so hard to contain. You get her turning the corner going downhill, and Canada is tough to deal with.
13 points today. With another foul shot on the way with 3.5 going on the clock. And hits. So another substitution for UCLA. Kennedy Burke, the 6'1" freshman.
Both teams working very hard, going offense, defense, substitution. They get Korver out. They bring a better defender in.
Boyette on the attack, too high off the window. But his second effort, it came right back to Davenport. The Longhorns will set up another play with 3 minutes to go. Davenport picked up by Burke. Shot clock at 9. UCLA has to play defense for the longest time here. Boyette heaves it up there. That doesn't touch anything. It's caught, though. Rodrigo had to try and toss it up. That's a shot clock violation.
Well, it's just not what you're hoping for on the offense. And it took a long time for that possession to get started. If you're going to isolate Boyette at the elbow with 9 seconds, where are you going to go with that?
She had nowhere to go.
Nowhere. That's just an awful possession. And whoever comes out of this basketball game, I got to tell you, they're going to have a real struggle trying to keep up with UConn on the offensive end. I'm not sure either offense is good enough.
Korver on a little curl. The one-hander won't drop. Boyette another rebound. She's had a really nice second half on the backboard. 9 rebounds and 15 points for the 6'7" senior from Los Angeles. Selena Rodrigo on the attack. Back to Boyette, and a big target knocks in 2 more.
Better possession. Pick and roll action. Get Boyette on the move and her defender on the move. And now a turnover by UCLA. Young mistake there.
Exactly 2 minutes to play.
Now this is a situation where you get Rodrigo in a pick and roll. You have to get Billings to step up. It allows for that easy opportunity for Boyette. Much better execution on that play.
So Texas trying to salt this away with under 2 minutes to go. Boyette with a kick out. Rodrigo thought about a three. Maintaining the dribble. 8 to get off a shot. Boyette with a catch. On Billings. And a whistle. That'll be another timeout, Texas.
They just used their last one, trying to make sure they get a score in this opportunity. And Boyette looked like she had a pretty good one-on-one.
Make a difference in this Sweet 16.
Now what a valuable voice on their bench. Seems to have made a giant contribution today, but it's not done yet. Atkins off the inbound with a misfire. And still time for UCLA here.
You don't have to get it all back in this shot. Make sure you get a quality look.
Canada well short.
That's another young mistake.
Rodrigo quickly into the offensive end, but now we'll run a little bit of that clock here, which has become a giant factor with 1 minute and 10 seconds to play. Picked off by Fields, a huge steal, trying to convert, and she can't do it. Canada back up, draws the foul, but they could not make 2 layups.
Wow.
With 1 minute 2 to go.
The great defensive play gets right where she wants to be, which is out in the open floor. Great timing on the pick. Understands the challenge is coming. This is why you don't give up as the offensive player, right? I mean, give Davenport some credit. She's frustrated with the turnover, but don't give up on the play.
She committed the foul, so Canada to shoot. And sinks the first one. A 76% foul shooter. She has 15 points today.
This is where Jim Valvano would have lengthened the game as much as possible, right? You could say, okay, we'll give them one more stop. We'll try to go for a quick trap. And I wouldn't be surprised if UCLA does that. A quick trap, try for a steal first. But I'd be fouling, trying to make Texas make some free throws here.
Longhorns by 5, trying to get it in. Into McCarty. And fouled immediately. Just 1 second coming off the clock. Drummer with her 3rd foul. McCarty pretty solid at the line at 73%. Korver going to the bench.
Yeah, UCLA on the next foul will be putting Texas at the free throw line.
McCarty getting free there. And now hit by Canada. So that'll do it. With 57.2 to go. And McCarty to the other end. So she will be shooting 2. This will actually be her first attempt today. Texas has not missed at the line, though. They're 8 for 8. So there's number 1.
I think teams would wish you would just wait till they make her the miss before voicing.
Right.
I like this kid, though. She loves to play. You can watch her on tape and just go, this kid loves to play.
1 of 2. 66 to 60. Korver, the 3-point shooter, can't hit it. Now they have to foul again with 47.5 left.
Well, they ran the perfect set. You want to talk about executing the quick hitter to perfection. Korver just could not make it. But that is run to perfection.
So it'll be Davenport heading to the other end to shoot. A 76% foul shooter, Empress Davenport. And a miss on the first 8 tonight at 11. After NBA Coast to Coast Don't Miss Sports Center at night with Nicole Briscoe and Kevin Connors. All the men's Elite 8 and women's Sweet 16 highlights. Spring training baseball, NBA, a lot more.
These missed free throws are giving opportunities for UCLA to stay in it. They're going to have to be super efficient and quick.
Lead at 7 for Texas. Canada turned it over and now thrown right back the other way. With both teams sloppy on that sequence, UCLA to check it in right in front of their own bench. The bounce for Canada. Trying to get around Boyette. Foul there, and she hits the deck with 31.7 showing. Imani Boyette with her 4th. Canada a little bit gimpy after hitting the floor pretty hard. She'll be at the line. As a team, UCLA makes 69% of their foul shots.
This young woman has a bright future. There have been a couple of moments here in the second half where I thought she made young mistakes.
"17 points, 7 out of 9 at the line today. Very strong on those. Back to a 5-point lead for Texas.
Comes down to making free throws from here on out. You got to inbound it cleanly. You got to try to get it to your best free throw shooters.
Over the top, Davenport. Burke has to chase her down and commit the foul. A precious seconds coming off the clock. Now 29.5. So it'll be Davenport to shoot. She had 23 points in their victory over Stanford, 18 against Oklahoma. So she can certainly be a factor on the offensive end. And that one spins out. And just a couple here down the stretch.
Just a 2-possession game still. You make this one, at least you make them make 2 threes.
She hits the second. Texas up by 6. Canada lost a long one. That won't drop. Boyette will draw the foul. And she's a good foul shooter at 79%. So Texas, their fans are beginning to smell a victory here today. Still 22.4 to go, but they have a 6-point lead, and Boyette can make it 8.
The last 3 times they've missed their first free throw.
And it happens again.
Make it 4.
Boyette, all Big 12 first team, named the conference co-defensive player of the year. 1 of 2. And a timeout, UCLA. So Corey Close wants to take one here, trailing by 7 with 22.4 showing on the clock. Who could possibly beat Connecticut has been the #1 topic of discussion about this tournament. Gino Auriemma has said if UConn plays to the best of their ability, they cannot lose.
Vic Schaefer echoed that in his post-game remarks.
UCLA inbounding. Canada trying to get inside that lane, and before the shot, drew the foul with 16.8 seconds to go. And personal foul will go against Texas, and Selena Rodrigo will pick up her second.
What Texas has done this season, I mean, this will be their 31st victory if they close this final 16.8 out. Winning 30 games in a college basketball season is hard. So I would understand her frustration at having to play Connecticut at what would be considered the lowest #2. You just documented 3 of their 4 losses came to Baylor in conference, one of the best teams in the country.
Canada on target, 20 points for her.
But given what we saw from Texas A&M on the men's side, until that buzzer goes off, I'm not very confident.
A 5-point advantage here for the Longhorns. And UCLA needing to foul every time. They do it again. This time Atkins gets hit. She's a very good foul shooter at 80%. Florida State and Baylor are coming up next. That's where we will take you to Dallas in just a moment.
We've got a Florida State team coached by Sue Summerall, who has just been so good at building that program and consistently getting it into the NCAA and into the second weekend.
Ariel Atkins, sophomore from Duncanville, Texas, at the line. Yes, on the first. Holly indicated she didn't play in the first semester, coming back from very serious ankle surgery. But she has contributed big time to this team, and she has 15 points today. So now the lead is 7 for the Longhorns. And pressuring UCLA. Burke, the freshman, into the paint, short. Another reach and a foul with 7.8 seconds to go. And Texas inching closer and closer to a victory here that would send them to the Elite Eight in a date with UConn.
And just as they did in their own conference, to battle back, to want the opportunity again to face a team that beat you by 51 points. This is a program, as Karen Aston has built it back methodically. You know, she referenced the senior class and made sure to tell us those were Gail Gestencourt's recruits that she is working for. As you see, one of those, Imani Boyette, who had an outstanding second half.
Atkins as well. Taylor at the line. Rebound comes to the Bruins. In the final seconds here, Canada with a 3, but that doesn't touch anything, and that'll do it. And Texas is on to the Elite Eight. They knock off UCLA. Great second half of the Longhorns. 72-64 the final. It'll be Texas and UConn on Monday night.